Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Heidi Christine, and I am the CMO of Pixels. So, as you just saw, or maybe you already know, we are a social farming game, an MMO. Before we get started, I want to ask you guys a couple questions, okay? So I want you to raise your hand real high. Who here loves gaming? Okay, so like every single person? Okay, love to see it. Who here has heard of Pixels, or maybe the Pixel token? Okay, that's pretty good. I'm gonna ask you a slightly harder question, okay? Who here has rage quit a game or project because the ecosystem felt unfair or maybe rigged? Yeah, it's Web3. Yeah, about 50% of us. Yeah, understandable. Okay, today I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna tell you the story of Pixels, about where we started and how we got to where we are today, which is the launch of our latest product, Stacked. You might have seen at our booth, which I encourage you to come check out. We have some stickers and shirts and magnets. So let's start at the beginning here. So at first, Pixels was a cute, casual farming game. You plant stuff, you water stuff, you harvest, you join communities, you have fun together, and you earn along the way. That was the whole point, that was the whole idea. We were part game, part research lab. We were a tiny team doing things that no one else had done before. And we didn't have crazy analytics or fancy dashboards. We had Twitter, Discord, and an extremely vocal community. Let me give you a picture of the kind of silly things that at least I was pulling at the beginning. Okay, so when I first joined the team, one of the first activations I did was Miss Peach. I placed Miss Peach down in Terravilla, our town center, and I said, Miss Peach is sad, Miss Peach is lonely. Go and tell Miss Peach you'll be a friend, and post about it on Twitter. Now, the reason I love to reminisce about Miss Peach specifically is because our demographic at the time was heavily male in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. And here I am telling all of these grown men to go befriend Miss Peach. The thing is, it worked. They loved it. It was kind of a breath of fresh air when you think back to the culture of crypto back in the day. And, you know, that's just kind of what the early days looked like. Very scrappy activations that were very community driven, and a lot of it was built on vibes. But here's the thing, it worked. It worked really well for us. By 2024, we were the biggest game in Web3. We had over 1 million daily active users at our peak, and we had $25 million in revenue in 2024. Our token launch on Binance Launchpad was one of the most successful, and our turnaround time for live ops events, like I've already said, was just insane, and it still is to this day. This is just one example of something silly we did when Bitcoin hit $100,000 for the first time. Within an hour, we were throwing a big celebration in Terravilla and sold these heads that were like Bitcoin. So you could walk around town with a Bitcoin head. It was just really fun and silly and a testament to our culture at the time. And one more event that I have to talk about is the wedding. So one of our content creators was getting married in real life, and we recreated his wedding in-game. We had a custom wedding map. We sold gowns and tuxedos so people could come and celebrate in style, and we also monetized a bit with permission from the groom. And it was such an insane, beautiful moment. I remember sitting on my parents' patio with them and watching the live stream, which was hooked up to the game, of this wedding of people that we didn't know in real life because they were so intrigued with what was going on. This moment really transcended the gaming community. It went just above and beyond. And it was an amazing PR moment for us also. For years afterwards, every article written about us was like, oh, and they hosted this wedding. So just bringing it back in here, the turnaround time for events and Pixels was and still is amazing. A meme goes viral, the market moves, our community says something funny, and we just run with it. And that's really the magic of those early days and now also. However, things did start to shift. We we really started to change our mindset when we had a live token economy. Now, we actually did have a live token before Pixel TGE called Berry, and it was sunset at Pixel TGE. And I'm not gonna dive too deep into that today, but just know we learned so much, so fast about what it means to have a live token economy. Everything changes. Game design is no longer just about fun and excitement and vibes. Like, it gets serious because now there's real money involved. The questions you start to ask are completely different. And that's when we started to see the cracks. Now, don't get me wrong, we did a lot right, but we also faced every single challenge you can possibly imagine in Web3 gaming. There's the obvious ones, okay, like the hostile actors, the bots, the scammers, the cheating tools, and then maybe, oh yes, of course, my favorite, the ones you don't think about, third-party systems that you're relying on to run your game, just shutting down without warning. It has happened a couple times, and it is not a fun place to be in. And then, of course, there's the ones that are debatably harder when it's more people involved. You know, maybe we hosted an event that over-monetized and felt kind of icky, or there's just people in our community that aren't there for the right reasons that can, you know, leave scars. But let's talk about bots, our favorite, right? Bots suck, okay? And I'm not gonna name names, but I remember back in the day, there were some games tweeting about how they banned 50 bots today. We were banning 50,000, and we were not shying away from it. We had the scale, and we had the problem. But the thing is, bots are actually not the problem. They're just the symptom of the problem. Here's what we figured out, okay? Like I said, bots suck. They drain reward pools, and they bring absolutely nothing to the ecosystem. But banning them also does nothing because they just spin up more all the time. The real issue is that the game design and the rewards infrastructure, or maybe lack thereof, is allowing them access to draining reward pools. And then, on the flip side, we also didn't have the ability to properly reward users that were creating good for the greater economy. So we needed to be smarter. We needed an intelligent rewards system. So we didn't set out to build a product. We set out to keep our game alive. We started tracking real-time events, every progression milestone, every purchase, every economy action, all of it logged. We added player segmentation so we can see who's a really good player doing good things and who's maybe a little suspicious, doing some things that might be abusing the system, like a bot, and then maybe remove access from their rewards. We took player screenshots, learned everything about a player, put it all in one place. Their currency, progression, engagement, how are they involved in the greater community. Underneath all of that, millions and millions of data points at the scale of 1 million daily active users. No other game in Web3 has data like this because they haven't been live long enough or near our scale, but we do. So we had a shift in mindset. The question that we were asking for far too long was, oh, how do we stop bots from taking our rewards? Instead, the question you need to be asking is, what behavior do we want this reward that we're distributing to create in the greater ecosystem? So once we flipped that mindset, things started to make more sense, and they started to get easier. One last thing we realized, we are not special. Every single game and studio that we spoke to had the exact same problem as us. Like I said, we're not special. We were just bigger and earlier. So we packaged it. Meet Stacked, our brand new product. Now I'm actually gonna play our release video so you can get a really quick idea of what the product is all about, and then we'll dive in. Now I wanna be really, really clear. Stacked is not inspired by pixels. Stacked literally is pixels. Every player behavior, reward loop, bot pattern, retention win, painful burn, 4 years of one of the biggest live data sets in Web3 gaming, analyzed, structured, and built into one platform. Companies and products using Stacked are not plugging into a theory. They are plugging into proven operating history. So what does Stacked actually do? There are two sides to Stacked, one for developers and studios and the other for players or users. Now, I'm gonna start calling them users because it doesn't have to be a game. You can implement a reward loop or incentivized task for any product. So for on the user side, you log in as Stacked, there's a website, there's an app coming really soon, and you engage with your favorite projects or games, or maybe discover a new one. You complete tasks, milestones, streaks, and earn along the way. Now for developers, which I'm sure there's a lot of in the audience today, we give you an SDK that integrates right into your platform. You get real-time event tracking, the system that Pixels is running on right now. You get bot filtering and player segmentation built right in. And the platform starts to learn who your users are, what actually moves them, and then deploys offers to drive this good behavior. On top of all that, Stacked has an AI game economist. So let's say you wanted to design a smart reward campaign for your product right now. You need a data scientist, a game developer, a game designer, whoever, all sitting in a room together for like 2 weeks trying to figure out how are we gonna build this, what's the design here, right? So instead, the Stacked AI can give you all of that information in one go. So let's say you're looking to retain users who have stopped spending or push new players deeper into your product or maybe bring back recently churned users. Stacked is a solution that can help build and target those offers for you. Now, I want to introduce just one last concept here today because I'm sure a lot of you are sitting there like, yeah, this sounds really cool. Does it actually work? Yes, and here's the proof. So we coined this metric called return on reward spend. It's pretty simple. Every dollar in rewards that we distribute, how much are we getting back? When we first started measuring this, we were getting 10 cents on the dollar. Just terrible. And then since we've started implementing everything that I've spoken about today, year to date, we're sitting at $1.30, and we're seeing this continuously go up as we implement more and more smart tasks and our AI gets smarter. Our highest month was in February, $2.30, and I forget which day it was, but our highest day, we were sitting at $8.60. So this is what has made Pixels, the Pixels game, work and be sustainable. And this is what Stacked carries into every game or platform. So let me wrap things up. We did not set out to build infrastructure. We set out to build a fun farming game that people would love to play and earn along the way. But 4 years later, that game and everything we learned the hard way is this infrastructure. So if you're in this room and you're building a product with a token economy or an incentive layer, a rewards loop, you do not have to learn the hard way, okay? You don't have to spend 4 years trying to figure out how to make the math work because Stacked is live. Stacked is live and running right now in the Pixels game and in every Pixel ecosystem product. And we're opening it up to more studios this year. So if you're building in the space, you can check out our website. This QR code leads to the business site specifically. If you're interested in the player side, you can just take away that /business on the URL. And yeah, there's like a form you can fill out for more information. And of course, we'll be at our booth today handing out some really cool t-shirts that are all Stacked themed. So yeah, I'll leave you with this. We built the thing that we wish existed 4 years ago, and now you can use it too. So thank you so much for having me here today.